Alison Becker gave a historic match, breaking 2 records at once. Unbelievable game Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool, and an even more unbelievable score on the scoreboard. Barcelona showed character. In the Champions League, the team managed to beat Benfica in the minority, and Bayern Munich smashed Bayer Leverkusen. We're discussing this and more today. Friends, this is a dose of football and top 11 most interesting news to this hour. Friends, be sure to charge your royal likes. We tried for you. Well, I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. It's no secret that the trend of Alexander-Arnold is close to transferring to Real Madrid, although 2 factors in the Englishman's transfer make one doubt. Firstly, the story of Alphonso Davies. The Spanish press has only inflated the story about 99% of Alphonso's transition to Real. They said that the leaks had agreed on everything with the defender, and Bavaria is definitely in the past and is not particularly trying to extend the defender's agreement. The Spanish media even convinced the Germans that Davies is about to move to Madrid, and the rough voices of those who said that nothing has been decided in SAGI yet drowned in the general rumble. You know the result, Alphonso extended his contract with Bavaria. And will the same thing happen with Trent? Moreover, Fabrizio Romano insists that Trent has not yet made a choice, and as soon as he is led, he repeats that Trent is Real's plan number 1, plan number 2, plan number 3, plan number 4, plan number 5. The interesting thing is that Fabrizio doesn't have sources in Liverpool. His info comes either from Real Madrid or from Trent. In general, it seems that Liverpool can still keep the player, especially if the APL team adds more to the Shastika. Besides Trent, Real Madrid is following another player. Krasny writes that Slivokne are trying to sign Ibrahima Kanate. The footballer's contract is just expiring in a year. Paris Saint-Germain also claims the Frenchman. Liverpool has not given up yet and is negotiating a contract extension. Honestly, I see no reason to leave Liverpool. Kanate has formed a stunning duo with Virgil van Dijk, the best pair of centre-backs in the Premier League at the moment. Virgil is about to extend his contract with Liverpool, and why would Kanate want to go into obscurity? Does he need such a challenge? In Madrid, he'll certainly get it, along with more serious competition. The risk is too high that Rudiger, Alaba, and Eder Militao, and even Raul Asentia, who are already playing at the highest level, will push Kanate to the bench. So the question is, does he need it? Barcelona did not fare well with Xavi last season. The Spaniard, Stress, publicly announced his plan to take a break due to burnout. Being a coach at Barca is a hellish job. After the impressive winning streak, Laporta persuaded Xavi to stay, convincing him it would be best for the club, which means everything to Xavi. But the coach stated that Barca is not in the best position right now and is lagging behind other top teams. No one doubted that this was the case, but Laporta didn't like Xavi's words and he fired the coach. And then, as it turned out, Barca also demanded Xavi and his entire coaching staff to return the given iPads and iPhones, which Xavi didn't like at all. It's a trifle, especially considering that Xavi refused compensation when he was fired. But the humiliations of the coach didn't end there. The World Mobile Congress, an annual technology exhibition, is being held in Barcelona from March 3rd to March 6th. Jean Laporta and Marc-André ter Stegen visited the exhibition and appeared on stage. And the Blaugrana Innovation Center on Tuesday held a series of presentations dedicated to the technologies of the future in sports. Everyone was very interested in the presentation of a German startup that allows real-time tracking of the field condition. By the way, it was one of the 5 finalists competing for the installation of the lawn for the reconstructed. During the technology demonstration, the company's founder, Christian Thiel, showed a slide with 2 memes about Xavi. In one of them, the coach was depicted with grass instead of hair, and in the other, working with a lawnmower. On the arena of synthetic, Xavi has repeatedly complained about the condition of the fields in Spain. Let him fix it himself. The memes quickly spread across social networks. The publication got in touch with Xavi's close ones, and they said that the coach and his family were shocked and extremely disappointed. After all, it's a disrespect to the legend at an event where Barcelona is one of the organizers. Crucially, it was revealed that Barca had pre-screened the slides from all the company's presentations. Barcelona has apologized to Xavi, the turf coach company, and Christian Thiel. We want to state that the turf coach company does not work with Barcelona and has never intended to ridicule Xavi. If this has offended him or his surroundings, we apologize. On the contrary, we intended to prepare this presentation responsibly to support and disseminate Xavi's message about the importance of fields in football, only I doubt that Xavi arranged these apologies. The sediment will remain in any case. And yet, after the story with the iPads, they wrote that the relationship between Xavi and the current leadership of Barca is spoiled forever. In 2026, the United States will host the World Cup together with Canada and Mexico. The final will be shown during the break, similar to the Super Bowl, as confirmed by Janine Fontaine. This is unusual for football, but personally I have nothing against it. Moreover, similar events are an essential part of important games in American sports. Well, in the comments to the news, fans are not joking around. They claim that the game is completely ruined. Copying American culture will only destroy the heritage of the CIA, or they will destroy everything for money. These guys are indifferent to football. I don't believe the show will ruin the football break or atmosphere. The question, however, is how will the players react to this? They will have to sit in the break longer. This can upset the mood or somehow affect physical readiness. They were already warmed up. Testing is needed here. But more likely, a slightly longer break will allow the footballers to rest better and therefore to play the second half more intensively, and it gives the coaches a better quality preparation for the match. Serie A, the top Italian football league, plans to hold matches in the United States, as announced by league president Ezio Simonelli. Holding matches abroad also requires the permission of the local league. Therefore, we need to reach an agreement on this matter. We hope to be the first to hold such an event in the States. We are counting on this market. 9 Series A clubs are owned by Americans and 1 by a Canadian. It's not surprising if the Italians are the first to start playing in the States, but I'm sure the other top leagues will follow. For the players, this is just extra fatigue from long flights. Nothing good, but money decides. And trips to the States bring clubs both a momentary advantage and an increase in revenues in the long run due to audience growth. Before the match with Manchester United in the Europa League, Real Sociedad's coach Emmanuel Guasch praised Ruben Amorim and reminded everyone that the Red Devils have a great coach. Some, it seems, could even forget about the club's string of defeats. As I repeat day and night, the problem with United is not the coach, and to ask exclusively from him is simply unfair. Moreover, it's very difficult to even see the coach's mistakes, considering all the complexities he faces daily. That's why Eriksson was excellent at Ajax but failed at Mu. That's why Ruben Amorim outperformed everyone in Portugal and even Man City in the Champions League. And now he doesn't know how to get the Wankunyans to consistently score points in the APL at the current pace. MU is formally even at risk of dropping into the championship, but thanks to the terrible newcomers to the league. The guys aren't playing well, they've nearly given up, so United will remain in the APL. Before facing Ocidadom, Amorim downplayed the significance of MU's potential Europa League win. The priority task now is the construction of a new team. However, it is desirable to carry out this construction with only one architect. Eclecticism can look very beautiful, but even it should be purposeful, with a specific vision of the author. But there's a problem with this. The club changes coaches like gloves. And Ruben Amorim suggests that the chair under him is already shaking. I don't know if I'll stay here. We think we'll come back and win in the future. We do a lot of things, but we don't win in matches. And when there are no victories, sometimes you have to change people. We know this. Very strange statement for a coach, especially for Amorim. He just recently took over the team. But in MU, as is known, the coaches burn out at a morning pace. And who knows? Maybe the bosses directly told the Portuguese that it's time to start fixing the situation, otherwise someone else will take over. It very much looks like it. Jose Akime is very close to leaving Bavaria, and despite the comeback, this is the best version of the footballer in this Champions League season. Kimmich has the most passes, line-breaking passes, key passes, and created clear chances. Bavaria tried very hard to extend the contract. Munich made him a gigantic offer by their standards, extended other important players, practically gave Jozo the captain's armband, and offered him to become the face of the club. Despite this, the defender has had a difficult relationship with the club recently, even being convinced last summer that he would not stay with the team. Bayern recently set a deadline for Kimmich to extend his contract, but he has not responded yet. The Reds are still trying to keep the footballer, but the advisory board has decided that now Have will not get either a pay raise or a signing bonus, which greatly complicates the deal. Munich's sports director, Max Eberl, has stated, as has been repeatedly said and confirmed, the negotiations were and remain respectful. All parties still believe that a decision should be made in the near future. There are no hints that the situation is under control. It seems that Kimmich will leave the team. Authoritative insider Florian Plettenberg reported that Joshua received a tempting offer from Paris Saint-Germain. No specifics, but Plettenberg says that it's about a top contract. The player is exceptional, as clear as a pen. For such talent, you can't skimp on the cost, and Paris Saint-Germain never does. What are we even talking about? And here is also an amazing footballer, and a suitable style for Luis Enrique. So they give him crazy money and an agreement until the summer of 2029. This is Kimmich's final major contract. You have to think about the future. It's necessary to rebuild the team. Obviously, the club's roster isn't up to the grand level. I personally asserted this long before Robin Marima arrived. The Portuguese obviously watched my video and decided that yes, this guy knows his stuff. Otherwise, how do you explain his words after the match with Fulham? I'm quite honest with my players, and they already know that sometimes they have to move on. Like at the end of this season, MU needs another restructuring. From the current roster, only one player is world-class. That's Bruno Fernandes, Andra Onos, Alexander Martina with rubbish, Uzra and Degdalo from the mat with De Ligt and Harry Maguire. Besides that, many players have significantly declined after moving to. Someone rarely gets out of the lazarette. Someone is still too young and unable to lead the team right now. Someone is too limited and useful, and only under certain conditions. First of all, Amari complains about the physical preparation of the team, about the lack of intensity. Under Mourinho and Solskjaer, the Red Devils abandoned aggressive pressing and took a different path. And that turn was clearly not there, as now MU does not reach durable players like Bruno Ugarte. Nothing. They are planning to bring in another veteran fighter in the semi-defense. According to the publication, Feats is obsessed with the game of Barcelona's pillar Marco Casado with Robano Orim, and United will go for the player in the summer. Now the Red Devils are preparing offers in the range of 80 million euros. Casada is currently playing for this amount, but let's not forget that this is his first season at this level. Is United in a hurry? Offering such money for an inexperienced player will live. We'll see. The match between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid has long ended, but passions remain high. Brahim Diaz fervently celebrated his goal with the fans, for which he received a yellow card. During the celebration, halfback shouted at Diego Simeone, "Speak now, speak now." But after the match, Dio stated that nothing like that happened, and then added that he either doesn't remember or it didn't happen. Why was Brahim even complaining about Diego Simeone? Before the game, the Argentine said, "I think they're trying to compensate for Bellingham's absence by bringing Camavinga into this position with Modric and Tchouaméni. There's a possibility of Brahim appearing, but I'm not sure because obviously there's a recurring pattern and they will probably play in such a way." And for some reason, that was enough to bring Brahim out of himself. "Diaz is a scam player. What's wrong?" said Semene. Even Ancelotti after the game stated that Brahim is not an indisputable main player, and now will Diaz ride on Carlo in the locker room? By the way, Diaz's goal, in the opinion of ex-referee Pavel Fernandes, was counted by mistake. At the moment of Brahim's goal, Vinicius is out of play. He is on the line of attack and 1.5 meters from the goal area. Atletico's goalkeeper's view is blocked by a real player when the ball is struck. I'm certain this isn't the main referee's mistake. The problem lies with video assistant referee who failed to inform the referee. Another refereeing scandal involving Real Madrid. True, nothing is being said about this on real TV. But the moment itself is ambiguous. Here's what ex-referees Eduardo and Turaldo Gonzalez think. They believe the goal was scored according to the rules. And which viewpoint is closer to you? I still lean towards the fact that it was a goal. But we definitely need to discuss this episode. Roberto De Zerbi took over Marseille to wage war on Paris Saint-Germain. And he's doing quite well in his first season. The passenger has no chance of taking the title, that's indisputable. But now Marseille is in second place, and that's an achievement, considering that the Italian has just taken over a team that was recently shaken by fanatical upheavals. Marcelino Garcia Toral, the coach of Marseille, left due to threats from fans. Marseille was in crisis, finished 8th last season, the worst result since 2016, but he started on the path of truth with De Zerbi. Despite their success, Provençals have been lucky this season, even gaining points in matches they lost early on. No, there are games, there is a result. Such things happen. The front of work at De Zerbi is still huge. In fact, perhaps someone else will take over the Provençals project in the near future. Milan is seeking to replace Sergio Conceição, with De Zerbi being a top candidate for the position. Roberto is well acquainted with Serie A, somehow the native championship, but personally I would advise Roberto to stay in Marseille. It's dangerous to climb into today's Milan. De Zerbi needs a reliable support under his feet, foundation. After all, he is a builder coach like Graham Potter or Mauricio Pochettino, and Milan is now unable to give the coach a solid ground under his feet because of the erroneous actions of the leadership. However, if De Zerbi is promised a shooting box, they can quite convince him to leave Marseille. What Italian coach doesn't dream of working with Milan? Inter easily dealt with Finward. Dealing with a team that's already been figured out isn't the hardest thing, but only a great team can do it. Walking, Inter practically didn't run, but still laid the Rotterdamers flat. Meanwhile, Feyenoord could only praise their own surrender. Despite the overwhelming pressure and fatigue, the Dutch only just managed to hold their own on the field. They tried harder than Inter, but at Radzor they lost out on class and tactics 2-0. Inter's away win seems to have settled everything in this matchup. Even Stanismai's recent injuries failed to add intrigue. And what about the intrigue in the Benfica and Barcelona match? Well, initially it seemed that there was none. A fun head-to-head game was expected with a clear advantage for the Catalans, but Pau Cubarsí decided that the predicted match is not fun, it's boring. On the 22nd minute, he fouled the last hope Pavlidis. How many times has the world been told that such fouls are justified plus-minus? Only closer to the end of the trip did Cubarsí forget what happened last year. Barca's fortunes turned with Ronald Araujo's red card against Paris Saint-Germain. Benfica had an incredible chance to win. The Eagles didn't even realize how lucky they were at first, and only in the second half did they start to press on the goal honestly. He demonstrated why Barcelona recruited him. If not for a single Brazilian error, it would have been the goalkeeper performance of the night. How he got stuck in after a headshot is inexplicable, some kind of Polish magic like out of Sapkowski's books. Thanks to Wojciech, the Catalans miraculously managed not to concede, and by the same miracle, they also managed to win. They call him Miracle Rafinha. The Brazilian scored a brilliant solo goal in Solanova yesterday. He intercepted the ball, dribbled into the box, and finished with precision. It was a tough match for Barcelona, but Rafinha and Chesney pulled it off even after Cubarsí's mistake. A review of this trip and all other Champions League matches, as usual, can be found on our Telegram channel. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Most people considered Bayern the favorite in the match against Bavaria. Still, Xabi Alonso excels at neutralizing Munich's players. Thomas Müller said before the match that according to German experts, Bayern is the clear favorite, but as underdogs, they want to prove themselves. Well, let's see, dear experts. Surely, Thomas is now pleased with his sharpness. Bavaria scored quickly with a brilliant header from Keane. Except for a brief period in the first half, Munich controlled the ball and dominated the match. Even though Wirtz was not visible, Kimmich ate him without issue. Bayern moved Bayern unexpectedly. Michael Oliver refereed the match. He recently just terribly refereed the Merseyside derby, then he also messed up the Cube game, and he was even punished, freeing him from work on these weekends. But instead of making amends in the Champions League, he lost the game again. Yesterday, it didn't even come to a meat grinder on the Red Key field, including Olivier Musiala's fault, who scored the second goal for Bavaria after Kipper's worst mistake. Pharmacist? Kovarja. He just threw the ball straight at Jamal, and he would have scored here. To correct Bayern's defense, Tapsoba came out, appeared on the field in the 68th minute, and in the 72nd minute, he fouled Kane in the penalty area. Good job, penalty. Harry is cool as a cucumber, he managed. And Bayern just fell apart again. Completely fell apart. No one saw a championship team yesterday. 3-0, victory over Bavaria. And Bayern, it seems, that's all. No, of course, someone, but Riolans' pharmacy is far on the comeback. But Bavaria is really good to just completely smear it in response. Here, without a red card or a huge stroke of luck, there's no way around it. Reviews, you know where. But just in case, I'll clarify again that in our Telegram the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Of course, I assumed that Liverpool would have a hard time in Paris. Lately, the passenger has gotten into such a shape that you can't even look at them without fear. And my fears turned out to be unfounded. The princes just wiped out the scouts. Most of the time yesterday, there was only one team on the field. In the first half, the Reds had to abandon attempts to control the ball and switch to long passes, focusing primarily on defense. Because defending was tremendously hard, Wicha even scored, but the goal was disallowed for offside. In our Telegraph, nasty schoolboys started writing that Liverpool is dragging, but especially for them. It was visible on the graph that the pig's paw was offside. I agree to count such offsides, it's nonsense, but a rule is a rule. Well, what's next? Ibrahim Kanate, in the opinion of some, should have been removed for a foul on Barkley, but judging by the video assistant referee everyone looked, considered that the Frenchman acted within the rules. I also agree with this, and not just because I support Liverpool. I watched this match with my friend, a Manchester United fan, and he said that to whistle such a thing, well, it's just stupidity. A classic game in the dormitory. As for Karachi, he had an outstanding match, twisting Liverpool's defenders and finding loopholes in the Reds' defense. But nothing could stand against the divine Alison. What the Brazilian did yesterday defies logic. It's beyond, it's fantastic. This goalkeeper has a lot of pulled-out matches and top saves behind him, but after the game with Paris Saint-Germain, he said that it was the match of his life. Alison took curved long shots, won duels, one-on-one, intercepted high balls. And in essence, Liverpool had only one player on the field yesterday. For most of the match, at least, Alison took the poker from Huichi and even a pint trick. Imagine how offensive it is to the Georgian. Paris Saint-Germain delivered 27 blows to Liverpool's throats, 10 to the goal, scored 1 goal and 50 HZ, which by the way is not enough. I thought there would be much more there. And all of this turned out to be insufficient to beat Alison. I already wrote in the Telegram channel that this match reminded me of the Liverpool-Real Madrid match, only now Liverpool is Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid is Liverpool. The princes pressed the scouts, just as the scouts pressed the slackers in their time. Suddenly 1 hit, 1 goal, that's all it took for everyone. I can imagine how upset the Parisian fans are. And of course, I can't help but praise Liverpool. The team had a very hard time, but they didn't let their hands down. In my opinion, the new coach knows how to approach any of the players, and his replacement is just wow. The outgoing Elliott scores with the first shot. This is very funny. And even funnier, what about Darwin Núñez's assist? And pay attention, you just think about it. Alison Becker's pre-goal pass. He had little to save, he also had to score, it was just his day. Historic performance, 9 saves. A record among Liverpool goalkeepers in Champions League matches and also an absolute record for Brazilian goalkeepers in all club competitions. If Kuiper gives another such performance in this Champions League, we can expect him again in Paris. He will come with the golden ball, leaving Salah unfinished. Friends, forgive me, but I will repeat once again, this is a great game of Alison. Will you tell your grandchildren about this? And it's not a sin to rewatch it on our Telegram channel. All Champions League matches again, I repeat, you will find there. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. That's all for today. My name is Kirill Kast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house and Johanga, friends.